Ever notice how some people just seem to like attract wealth effortlessly while others are just kind of like struggling to make ends meet? Maybe it's written in the stars, literally. Today we are going deep into zodiac signs, an astrological guide to your money mindset. We'll uncover how your zodiac sign just might hold the secret to like unlocking your financial superpowers.
I am excited to break down these astrological money archetypes. Let's see if we could decipher the financial fates.
Okay, so let's start with like the basics. For anyone who is new to this whole cosmic game, the zodiac is like this giant wheel divided into those 12 signs, each associated with, different personality traits and apparently financial habits. Now buckle up because we are about to explore how those traits translate into real-world money moves. First up, the bold and fiery signs.
Ah, yes. Fire signs, known for their passion, energy, and maybe a touch of impulsivity. They tend to approach finances with a certain fearlessness. Let's take Aries, for example, ruled by Mars, the planet of action.
So does that mean that they're constantly like chasing the next get-rich-quick scheme?
Not necessarily, but they're definitely drawn to opportunities that promise like big rewards, even if it involves a certain level of risk. Think about it. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, always eager to be first in line, first to try something new, first to conquer. That pioneering spirit often translates into their financial endeavors.
That makes sense. They're like the entrepreneurs, the trailblazers, the ones willing to bet on themselves and their big ideas. So what's the key to like harnessing that fiery energy without getting burned?
Well, it's about balancing that inherent boldness with a touch of strategy. Aries folks can benefit from creating like a solid financial plan, even if it feels a bit restrictive at first. They need to make sure they're not just leaping before they look, but rather calculating their risks and diversifying their investments.
So like having a fire extinguisher on hand, just in case that entrepreneurial fire gets a little too out of control.
Exactly. It's about channeling that fiery energy in a productive direction. Now, speaking of fire, let's move on to Leo, the sign that rules the heart and apparently the wallet.
Ooh, Leo. I've heard they have a taste for the finer things in life. Does that mean they're destined to be shopaholics?
Not exactly. Leos, ruled by the sun, they crave the best, the brightest, the most dazzling. It's not just about spending money, it's about surrounding themselves with beauty and expressing themselves creatively through their possessions and experiences. Think of them as the curators of their own luxurious lives.
So instead of just buying any old thing, they're investing in pieces that speak to their soul, that reflect their unique style and that make a statement. It's less about mindless spending and more about like curating a lifestyle that aligns with their values. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely. And that desire to express themselves often translates into careers where they can shine, literally and figuratively. Think entertainment, the arts, design, or even entrepreneurship. They thrive in roles where they can be the center of attention and showcase their talents.
All right, Leo, you've got my attention. Now, before we move on from the fiery realm, let's talk about Sagittarius, the adventurous spirit of the zodiac.
Oh yes, Sagittarius. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion and good fortune is all about exploring new horizons, expanding their knowledge, and seeking truth and meaning. This translates to their financial habits in interesting ways.
So does this mean they're the ones who are constantly jet-setting around the world, racking up credit card debt on these like exotic adventures?
While they do love to travel and experience different cultures, their financial superpower lies in their ability to attract abundance through their optimistic outlook and willingness to embrace new opportunities. They're not afraid to take risks, invest in their personal growth, or pursue unconventional career paths that align with their passions.
I can see them being drawn to careers that offer freedom and flexibility, like freelance work, entrepreneurship, or even teaching or consulting in fields they're passionate about.
Absolutely. But just like with any fire sign, there's a need for balance. That adventurous spirit can lead to impulsive spending or overlooking practical matters like saving for the future.
So for our Sagittarius listeners, what's the key to harnessing that boundless optimism while still building a solid financial foundation?
It's about creating a financial plan that allows for both adventure and stability. They might benefit from setting aside a designated travel fund or exploring investment opportunities that align with their ethical values, like sustainable businesses or social impact ventures.
Great advice. Now, how about we take a breather from all that fiery energy and move on to the grounded, practical earth signs?
Feels like a plan. Let's see what financial wisdom the earth signs have to offer. Welcome back to our exploration of zodiac signs and money. We just finished diving into the fiery realm of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But before we move on to the practical earth signs, I think it's important to mention that, there's more to the astrological picture than just your sun sign.
Oh, you're right. We can't forget about those other cosmic players like the rising sign and moon sign. I'll admit I'm a little fuzzy on how those fit into the whole financial picture.
Yeah, it's like adding layers to a cake, each one contributing to the overall flavor. Think of it this way. Your sun sign is like your core identity, your basic nature. But your rising sign, also known as the ascendant, is the mask you wear to the world. It's the first impression you make, and it can influence how you approach life, including finances.
So if someone has a fiery Aries sun sign but a more cautious Capricorn rising, would that mean that they approach money matters with less impulsivity?
Exactly. That Capricorn rising would temper their Aries tendencies, making them think more strategically about investments and long-term financial security. It's a fascinating interplay of energies.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about the moon sign? Where does that fit in?
The moon sign represents your emotional world, your inner needs, and how you seek security. It plays a significant role in your relationship with money, especially when it comes to things like saving habits and what makes you feel financially safe.
So someone with a Cancer sun sign known for their love of home and security might actually be more prone to emotional spending if they have, say, a fiery Sagittarius moon.
That's a great example. That Sagittarius moon might crave adventure and seek emotional fulfillment through travel or experiences, potentially leading to impulse purchases or overspending on things that bring them joy in the moment.
This is getting really interesting. So knowing someone's rising and moon signs can really add depth to understanding their financial personality, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for understanding their financial motivations and behaviors. But remember, astrology provides insights, not guarantees.
Right. It's not like our birth chart dictates our financial destiny. We still have free will and the power to make conscious choices.
Exactly. Astrology is like a roadmap, not a rule book. It highlights potential strengths and weaknesses, but ultimately, we're the ones behind the wheel.
I love that analogy. It's about using these astrological insights as tools for self-awareness, not excuses for bad financial habits.
Precisely. Understanding your astrological blueprint can empower you to make more informed decisions, leverage your strengths, and work on areas where you might need a little extra support.
Okay, so we've got a good grasp on sun signs, rising signs, and moon signs. Now let's get back to our cosmic tour of the zodiac and dive into those grounded, practical earth signs we mentioned earlier. They seem like they'd be pretty good with money, right?
You're right. Earth signs are known for their practicality, stability, and yes, their knack for managing money. They approach finances with a grounded, realistic perspective, always with an eye on building a solid foundation for the future.
Sounds like they're the ones building empires brick by brick.
Exactly. They understand the value of hard work, patience, and making smart investments that yield slow and steady growth.
All right, let's start with Taurus, the sign that rules all things sensual and luxurious. I'm curious, how does their love of indulgence mesh with their reputation for being good with money?
That's a great question. Taurus, ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, appreciates the finer things in life. But here's the key. They also understand the value of quality and lasting enjoyment. They'd rather invest in one beautifully crafted piece that brings them joy for years to come than buy 10 trendy items that quickly lose their appeal.
So it's about finding that balance between indulging their senses and making smart financial choices that support their long-term well-being. They're not afraid to spend money, but they do it with intention and a focus on value.
Exactly. They understand that true luxury is about investing in things that enhance their quality of life and bring them a sense of contentment.
Okay, Taurus, you've officially won me over. Now what about Virgo? They're known for being meticulous and detail-oriented, so I imagine they're the ones creating these intricate spreadsheets for every penny they spend.
You're not far off. Virgos, ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and analysis, have a natural talent for organization and a love for systems. They thrive on having a clear understanding of their finances and enjoy the process of budgeting and tracking their spending.
I can see them being the ones who color code their finances and have a separate savings account for every goal they're working towards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But their meticulous nature can sometimes lead to overthinking or getting bogged down in the details. They might hesitate to make a move or miss out on opportunities because they're too busy analyzing every possible outcome.
So what's the key for Virgos to avoid getting stuck in analysis paralysis?
It's about learning to trust their intuition and embracing calculated risks. They don't have to abandon their love for planning, but they can benefit from setting deadlines for decisions and remembering that sometimes The best opportunities come with a bit of uncertainty.
Great advice. All right, last but not least, let's talk about Capricorn, the ambitious climber of the zodiac. I'm guessing they're the ones who are naturally drawn to building wealth and achieving financial success.
You're absolutely right. Capricorns, ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline and responsibility, have an innate drive to succeed and a natural talent for managing resources. They're the ones who set ambitious financial goals and work tirelessly to achieve them.
So they're the CEOs, the entrepreneurs, the ones who are building empires and securing their financial futures.
Exactly. They understand the power of delayed gratification and are willing to put in the hard work and make sacrifices in the present to achieve their long-term goals. They're the masters of long-term planning and building a legacy of wealth and security.
But is there a downside to all that ambition and discipline? Could they end up being too frugal and miss out on enjoying life along the way?
That's a great point. It's important for Capricorns to remember that money is a tool, not the end goal. They can benefit from allowing themselves to enjoy the fruits of their labor and celebrate their accomplishments along the way. Balance, as always, is key.
I think that's a great takeaway for all of us, regardless of our zodiac sign. It's about finding that sweet spot between planning for the future and savoring the present moment.
Well said. Now, are you ready to leave the grounded realm of the earth signs and explore the airy, intellectual realm of the air signs?
Absolutely. Let's see how those mental butterflies approach money matters. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on quite the astro-financial journey, exploring how different zodiac signs approach money matters. From the fiery risk takers to those grounded earth signs, we've seen how those personality traits can play out in the real world. But, sometimes it's kind of hard to connect with those abstract archetypes.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you just need to see it to believe it. That's why I thought it'd be fun to ground this conversation with some real life examples of how these astrological tendencies manifest in actual people.
Oh, I love that idea. So do you have any juicy examples of how these zodiac money personalities play out in the wild?
Absolutely. Let's start with a classic Taurus, shall we?
Yeah.
Think Warren Buffett.
Wait, the Oracle of Omaha himself is a Taurus. How that makes perfect sense.
Great. He's known for his long-term investment strategy, his patience in the markets, and his focus on building a solid financial foundation. Those are all classic Taurus traits.
And he's also known for enjoying the finer things in life, like his private jet. But he's also incredibly disciplined and has lived in the same house for decades. It's the perfect embodiment of that Taurus balance between indulgence and practicality.
Yeah, it's not just about accumulating wealth for a Taurus. It's about enjoying the fruits of their labor in a way that feels stable and secure. Now, for a contrasting example, let's look at Oprah Winfrey, a classic Aquarius.
Oprah, the queen of media, the ultimate innovator, and yes, an Aquarius that totally tracks.
Right. She embodies that Aquarian spirit of pushing boundaries and challenging conventions. She built a media empire from the ground up, constantly reinventing herself and exploring new ways to connect with her audience.
And she's also incredibly philanthropic, using her wealth to support causes she believes in. Another classic Aquarian trait. They're not afraid to use their resources to make a positive impact on the world.
It's about aligning their financial success with their values, which often extend beyond just personal gain. Now, for a fiery example, let's talk about Elon Musk, an Aries.
Oh, of course. The ultimate risk taker. Always pushing the boundaries of innovation with Tesla, SpaceX, and pretty much everything he does.
Exactly. That bold, pioneering spirit is like pure Aries energy. He's not afraid to take huge risks, invest in seemingly crazy ideas, and challenge the status quo.
And while not all of his ventures are successful, his willingness to push boundaries has led to some groundbreaking advancements.
And that's the thing with Aries. It's not always about playing it safe. It's about following their passion, taking action, and being willing to, disrupt the norm. Sometimes that leads to massive success, and sometimes it leads to spectacular flameouts. But they're always willing to learn from those experiences and move on to the next big thing.
These real-life examples really bring those astrological money tendencies to life. I'm starting to see those patterns.
Yeah, and these are just a few examples. We could spend hours discussing how different celebrities and historical figures embodied their zodiac signs' financial traits.
We'd need a whole new deep dive for that. But I think you've made your point. Astrology, while not a precise science, can offer some fun and insightful perspectives on our financial personalities. It's like having a cosmic cheat sheet to understanding our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, a great starting point for self-reflection and understanding those inherent tendencies that might be influencing our financial decisions. But, as we discussed earlier, it's crucial to remember that our zodiac signs don't determine our destinies.
Right. We have the power to make conscious choices, develop healthy financial habits, and create the financial future we envision for ourselves, regardless of what our horoscope might say.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, and astrological insights, when used wisely, can be valuable tools on our financial journeys.
I think that's a great note to end on. It's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of astrology and personal finance. Thank you for joining us on this cosmic adventure. We encourage you to explore your own financial personality and consider how your zodiac sign might be playing a role. But remember, ultimately, you're the one in control of your financial destiny.